Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us for Piper Creek's Back to School Night. We are so excited to share important information with you about the school year and your child's classroom. Our Piper Pirates are already off to an amazing start, and we look forward to a fabulous year ahead. We'll begin with introductions, followed by details about our MTSS program, also known as Win Time, What I Need. Thank you again for being here this evening. We are so glad you could join us. Now I would like to introduce you to some of the Piper Creek staff. In our front office reception area, we have Miss Chelsea and Miss Missy, as well as Nurse Chris and Officer Jeff. Mrs. Martin, Principal, and Dr. Cross, Assistant Principal. Then your children will also be with our special staff, Mr. Reed, who is our STEM teacher, and Mrs. Carey, our technology teacher. Our librarian, Mrs. Brown, and assistant, Mrs. Gable, as well as Mrs. Stout, our physical education teacher. Mrs. Hayworth is our art teacher, and Miss Noble is our music teacher. Now you'll see our Piper Creek counselors, Mrs. Crusoe and Mrs. Dugan. And last but not least, Mrs. Albo, our instructional coach. Next, I would like to introduce our ESOL teacher and our intervention team. Mrs. Ward Jones is our ESOL teacher.
Welcome. We're here to roll out the red carpet for our fabulous team of teachers who your student might be hanging out with this year. Meet the intervention team. Meet our passionate Piper Creek intervention team, Mary Patterson, Talia Dwyer, and Courtney Wagner. Our job is to provide additional teaching and practice to students who score below benchmark on reading and math assessments. The goal is to move students toward the grade level benchmark scores through an extra dose of instruction and practice in the areas of need in reading and/or math. Students come to our rooms during their daily MTSS times for math and reading. We see them every day of the week for 25 to 30 minutes.
You may be wondering how your student is chosen to receive intervention from one of us. It begins with our district assessments. Every student is given a universal screener in their classroom to determine if he or she may need extra support. The universal screeners used for reading include FastBridge, A Reading, and CBM Reading, and the screener used for math is the iReady diagnostic. Let's discuss how reading intervention is determined. After students take the FastBridge CBM Reading Universal Screener, students who score at some risk or high risk will receive additional diagnostic testing from the intervention team. This testing will determine what areas of need should be provided in intervention for that student. In most cases, this will be a phonics or reading fluency intervention. And now about math intervention. Our Math Universal Screener also acts as a diagnostic test for each math unit in the classroom. This test will provide us a list of students who need in-depth review or need monitoring and support during each math unit. The intervention team will support those students with the priority math standards for each math unit. The final part of intervention is progress monitoring. If your student is in reading or math intervention with our team, he or she will be progress monitored weekly to track the effectiveness of the intervention. The resources we use for progress monitoring for reading are end of the lesson assessments and CBM reading probes. For math, we use weekly checks for understanding as our progress monitoring, which go with each lesson.
So, how will you know if your student is in intervention groups? If your student is receiving intervention from our team or a classroom teacher, a note will come home in your student's backpack informing you of the following: the intervention skill level, who is teaching the intervention, and what resources being used for progress monitoring. If at any time the intervention needs to change for your student, we will inform you with a note that comes home in your student's backpack. That's a wrap from us. We look forward to working with your children and are excited to start a great school year full of learning and growth. Please reach out if you ever need anything from our team. Thanks so much and have a great school year.